right, morning, afternoon now.
Ready, or you need to wait down?
You all set? Four set?
Yeah, ready when you are.
Good.
Okay. I normally don't get into too many specifics about a pending matter, but in this case I will for two reasons. One, because I don't want the rumor mill out there to be unfair to Mr. Lee here and what actually happened here. And two, you know, it's just a violation. It's not going to go before a jury, so I'm not taking a jury pool at all in this case. So I will tell you the allegations here. Mr. Lee, who's the assistant general manager of the Ottawa Senators, was here in town for the NHL scouting combine. He was staying at the Westin Hotel. Yesterday, he was apparently at some NHL functions down at 716, and the Westin Hotel has a shuttle service back and forth from the facilities down there at Canal Side to the Westin Hotel, and a 19-year-old young man was dispatched by the Westin Hotel to go to 716 and pick Mr. Lee up. Mr. Lee allegedly asked the young man if he could sit in the front seat of the van, and the young man said sure. And in the course of the drive back to the Westin Hotel, Mr. Lee allegedly put his hands on his shoulders and allegedly made some lewd comments. The young man told him to stop, to don't touch him. Mr. Lee allegedly did not stop and put his hand back on his shoulders again and started rubbing his shoulders. The young man again told him to stop. And then the allegations are that when they got, by this time they had pulled up to the Westin Hotel now, that Mr. Lee allegedly made a reference to his own private parts and made a vulgar or lewd statement to the 19-year-old boy again, and the driver was obviously very shaken by this. He immediately went into the Westin Hotel. When he got there, went up to the head of security and told security what had happened. Security then notified the Buffalo Police Department. Buffalo Police Department came and investigated the matter. Mr. Lee was arrested last night. He was held in custody last night, mainly due to the fact that he is a Canadian citizen, and they did not want him fleeing the country. So he was held last night, and then he was arraigned this morning on the harassment charge in the second degree. There was obviously a concern here that he is a Canadian citizen, so I wanted to ensure that his passport was taken so that he could not flee the country, so he could face these charges, which he will on Monday morning. Again, it's not the crime of the century, but I had no problem with releasing him from custody, obviously, but again, I wanted to ensure that we had his passport and that he would answer to this charge.
Was alcohol involved in any way?
Not that I know of. No, it was the alleged incident occurred yesterday at approximately 10:30 in the morning. So I'm not aware that any alcohol was involved.
Is the charge unwanted touching?
The charge is yes. The harassment charge reads with intent to harass, annoy, or alarm another person. The individual made physical contact or threatened to make physical contact. In this case, he touched his shoulder. The young man asked him to stop. He did not stop and grabbed his shoulder again, allegedly, and started rubbing his shoulder.
You say it happened yesterday?
Happened yesterday, late morning, early afternoonish. Yeah.
What's the penalty for something?
It's a violation, so it's not even a misdemeanor. So like I said, it's not the crime of the century here, but I've got a 19-year-old victim here. I got a 19-year-old victim who is probably thinks that it's a cool thing to get an assistant general manager of a hockey team in a car, and they got a ride from 716 to the Westin Hotel. You're probably talking with traffic, maybe 5-10 minutes. How many times does a 19-year-old get a chance to talk to a general manager of a hockey team and talk about the Stanley Cup and talk about different hockey players? That's kind of a cool thing. What's not cool is what happened, and so that's why Mr. Lee is going to have to answer for his uncool behavior.
Are you aware of any statements that Mr. Lee has made in connection with this?
That I can't answer because, again, in the event that Mr. Lee wants to contest this and fight this charge, that would be part of the evidence. So I'm not gonna comment on any evidence that I have.
If convicted, what kind of a penalty does he face?
You could be fine, maximum 15 days in jail. But again, this is this is going to go for the judge on Monday. I don't know, but I assume that Mr. Lee doesn't want to be here. He's basically forced to stay the weekend. From my understanding, the scouting combine ends tomorrow. He was, I believe, supposed to check out tomorrow. So he's going to have to spend another couple nights in Buffalo. So I don't know what's going to happen on Monday, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets resolved on Monday.
He was staying at the Westin?
He was staying at Westin. Now he's no longer staying at Westin. He was given an order of protection he can't go back to the Westin Hotel, and given an order of protection away from this 19-year-old as well. So he's got to get a new hotel. So he was he didn't have his passport here, so someone from Canada apparently had to bring his passport. That's what the delay was this morning, why he was the last one to be arraigned. Someone apparently brought his passport to Buffalo this morning. They dropped it off at the Westin Hotel. One of my investigators went to the Westin Hotel, got the passport, brought it to the court, and then then he was given an escort back to the Westin Hotel to get his property, and then we'll be staying at another hotel.
Any idea how much the fine could be for him?
I'll find out for it. I forgot what the max is. $250. Don't quote me. I haven't been a judge in 4 years now. Jeez, forgot what the max is.
Could this affect Mr. Lee's ability to come back into this country once this is adjudicated?
No, probably not. I mean, well, I don't think so. Okay, I just gave no probably. I don't think so. I got 3 different answers there. The only violation offense that I'm aware of that prevents people coming back and forth to the country are alcohol-related offense. So I mean, if someone's found guilty of the driving while impaired, which is a violation in Canada, the impaired offense is a misdemeanor equivalent. So they have problems coming across the border with that violation offense. I don't believe there are any other violation offenses that would affect that. I'm not 100% positive on that, but I don't think so. I think he had the ability to come back and forth.
Was the shuttle from the Westin anything that had surveillance with it, a camera?
I can't comment on that. Anything else?
Where was he arrested, Mr. Lee, or taken in? He was at the hotel?
Yeah, at the hotel. At the hotel, and then brought down to Buffalo Police Headquarters.
Is this young man, does he have any recourse other than?
Me. I'm his recourse. I will get him justice. I mean, again, it's like I said, it's just a violation. It's not even a misdemeanor, but still, I mean, he has to. He's gonna have to answer for what he did, and he already spent a night in jail. So one night in jail is that's a wake up call to him, and then if it's resolved, I doubt he's gonna get. I'm not gonna ask for jail time. Probably. Obviously this is going to be very damaging to him publicly. He's got a very public position as the assistant general manager of an NHL hockey team. It could affect his employment. I have no idea if it will or not. So I mean, he's going to have some. He's going to be facing some obviously consequences for what he did.
If the event took place mid-morning yesterday or late morning yesterday,
yeah,
when was it that Mr. Lee surrendered to authorities?
Well, he didn't surrender. The Buffalo police went to the Westin Hotel to investigate the matter, and then they brought him back to police headquarters. Last night, I believe. I was called at about 7 o'clock last night, so sometime around that time.
Victim, 19-year-old male, you said?
Yes. Anything else? Okay, guys. All right.